Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa. Thanks for joining us in the live chat and waiting on us. Johnny and I were just catching up on a few things. Apparently, things got a little spicy last night in some spaces. So we'll talk about that as well as a new wallet that Johnny was trying. So be right back right after this. Hey, Johnny, I hear you're back at it, picking fights and lighting up wallets and
yes,
shutting down things.
Last night was spicy. I don't know who caught that Twitter Spaces, but
well, the guys on Hash It Out on Blind Dave's channel, we're talking about it. So make sure that you guys go over and watch Blind Dave's channel. Westwood's on their stake, and Javier on there with Blind Dave, and it was pretty funny. So go watch that. So tell us about it. Give us the cliff notes.
First, let me give everyone a shout out. Dave, I saw you in the chat. I saw you were on there last night. Awesome. Shout out to Greg,
Greg jumped on.
Greg's a good personal friend of mine, so we should give Greg a shout out.
Nana's here.
Nana, Warrior, everybody. What's up, you guys?
Gloria's been here. Tom. We've got a new friend, JT. Jim Montgomery was in early. Mark Weems, we're sending out prayers to your wife. Thanks for joining us. And did I get everybody? I feel like
what's up, Jim? Jim's in there. What's up?
I saw Jim.
JB.
Gazoo was in there too. So I think that's everybody that was in the chat earlier. And Hex something. I can't read your name.
Force One.
Hex Force One. Okay. And JB.
But yeah, last night was wild. So actually I'm wearing the hat right now, Litecoin Underground. They do that Wednesday night Twitter Spaces. And I wasn't on it for a while, had some life stuff come up, but I been trying to get back on a lot of these Twitter Spaces, get back with the community again. And last night was one Litecoin versus Lightning. And Lightning Network's been getting a lot of heat lately from Bitcoin maximalists, basically that it's not working the way that they intended it to or wanted it to, or they're complaining about a lot of the problems. And so this Bitcoin maximalist guy was in there. And at first I was going to be nice. And then I look and the guy has me blocked. So I was like, you have me blocked. Why? I was like, can you not handle the truth I was telling? And I got really angry because it brought up a lot of memories for me about, back when I set out on my journey of Litecoin and payments and doing my videos, I expected to be received with welcome arms from the crypto community, the Bitcoiners, and all I was treated with resistance. And
I had my life threatened. It was a shock to me because the Litecoin community is so, Mom introduced us to crypto and Litecoin, and that's why my name is Litecoin Lisa. And so I thought it would be the same experience. And then I got invited to speak at Bitcoin Day, and those people are great. But somebody that was attending the event was really nasty, and it's pretty shocking to me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's shocking. And the thing is, my message has always been clear. It's about a need for a better form of value transfer for people, for humanity, to beat the bad guys, to get away from all these people. And Litecoin, actually, if you go back and read the Satoshi white paper, Litecoin is more closely following the Satoshi white paper than Bitcoin is. Now, I am a huge fan of Bitcoin. I think if people want to just invest in one crypto and keep it simple, I think Bitcoin only is a great option for them. Do that. But don't knock what we're doing with Litecoin as far as the technology goes, the payments go, the freedom aspect of it. That's where I have a real problem. If you just sit there and yell shitcoin and you have no facts to back it up. So this guy started talking about merchant payments. So I requested to speak. And I said, look, no one knows more about merchant payments in the Bitcoin community than I know. I have thousands of merchants out there, thousands of terminals out there. I've dealt with thousands of customers. I've seen all the problems. I said, yes, merchant. He was talking about Latin America, how people can't get merchant accounts. I said, wouldn't that be a reason for Litecoin? He said, no, Bitcoin. I said, please explain. And then I said, he goes, well, just use Lightning. I said, but we've already established Lightning doesn't work in a non-custodial manner right now. All the wallets that worked were custodial. And he even admitted, he goes, yeah, it used to be so easy. I would go tip a waiter. I'd have him download Wallet of Satoshi. I said, but that's not Bitcoin. That's a centralized wallet. You're just moving money on a server. And he was like, I was like, so you're not really teaching them Bitcoin if you're having them use a centralized wallet. That's not what Satoshi said in the white paper to do. And then I started getting really angry. And, because a lot of these Bitcoiners that talk about, they're talking about that guy, David Marcus, and all these people at these big companies. And I just freaked out. I said, look, I see people talk about the deep state, this and that. I said, this is the freaking deep state, these people. I'm like, if you're a high up at one of these companies, you are the deep state. If you're not the deep state, you're connected to the deep state. And basically what happened is we had a chance 5 or 6 years ago to really get adoption. We got out ahead of the banks, ahead of the governments, ahead of all that with our solutions. Problem is all this infighting, yelling, Litecoin's a shitcoin, this, that. It confused so many people. It set adoption back instead of moving it forward. And now I said, if we're on a boat that's stranded at sea and we were 50 miles from shore and we could maybe get a plan together and get to shore, now we're 500 miles from shore. We ain't getting to shore and you're 500 miles from shore and you're stranded at sea. 50 miles, maybe you got a chance. You can play the currents the right way, and we could see land before. So, and I said with basically what it boils down to for merchant payments, and we'll talk about this wallet, Stack wallet, that I really like. But with merchant payments, why Bitcoin doesn't work right now, especially for smaller payments, is you could double spend on Bitcoin. So the guy brought up, he goes, well, it's not feasible for somebody to sit in line and wait 2.5 minutes for the Litecoin block to clear. He goes, how can this? He goes, isn't Visa MasterCard so much more scalable? I said, Visa MasterCard don't settle for 6 months. He goes, what do you mean? I said, go back to the Satoshi white paper. Talks about need for a peer-to-peer electronic cash system without the need for a third party because there's fraud in payments. And because of the fraud in payments, Visa, MasterCard do not fully settle for 6 months. You could have the money taken from you for up to 6 months. I said, so you do not need to wait for the Litecoin block to clear. I said, because right now, do the customers wait 6 months until it fully settles on the Visa network? No. I said, in business, in stores, it's standard operating procedure for people to the merchant takes on some risk. Greg and I actually went to visit a customer yesterday that got beat for $4,000. So selling cigarettes as a convenience store. There's a scam going around in our area. people are coming up to the counter with multiple credit cards. They're stolen cards. They're buying cartons of cigarettes, and then it turns out to be fraud. And cigarettes are very liquid on the open market, especially in a state like New Jersey where the tax is high. If you get stolen cigarettes that have that New Jersey tax stamp on the bottom, I mean, you could sell them off for almost full value to very fast. You can go to bodegas and stuff that sell cigarettes, and if they're paying 108 a carton, you could say, "I'll give me $100 for a carton," and here you go. So it's, Litecoin, you can't double spend, and the reason you can't let's explain what a double spend is. A lot of people might not know what this is.
Okay.
So a double spend means that in Bitcoin, if you send a transaction out, if I go to pay you, Lisa, and you give me gold or silver, and I pay you a Bitcoin, and say the Bitcoin network's congested and it's slow, I could put a really low transaction fee on that transaction. You might see that it's coming in your wallet and say, "Oh, I'm good. I see the transaction. The block didn't clear." I could do what's called replace by fee. I can immediately send a transaction out after that to my own wallet that has a higher fee attached to it. That transaction with the higher network fee is going to go through first. It's going to cancel out that first transaction. That transaction I sent you is never going to settle into your wallet. It's always it'll remain pending confirmations until it falls off. Litecoin, you can't do that. One reason, the blocks clear a lot quicker. So Bitcoin, you have more time to do this replaced by fee because the blocks clear every 10 minutes. Litecoin, it's every 2.5 minutes. But second reason is the Litecoin blocks are not full. So there's no such thing as replacing by fee because both of that transaction is going to get cleared in the next block no matter what.
Oh, okay.
So it's a huge deal when you're dealing with merchant payments. So I actually explained that Litecoin is your best option for paying for goods because you can't do this replace by fee scheme and this double spend scheme. It's a huge deal. And I brought up Clint Westwood. I said, what about if you want to sell somebody a car on the weekend? I said, a lot of people might just think, "Oh, I'll take Venmo. That sounds good." Well, Venmo transactions could be canceled out. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, Venmo has Litecoin enabled in there. So what if you show them a Litecoin address and you say, "Hey, can you send me money through this Litecoin network in there?" You get the Litecoin into your wallet, and then you can sell it for dollars and then transfer that money to your bank account. At least you weren't going to get fraud.
Right. And even cashier's checks from banks, I learned a lesson about that. I was receiving a cashier's check, and the one bank wouldn't guarantee, like they waited. They were like, "We don't care. It's a cashier check on it from another bank. We don't trust them." And I was like, "But it's a cashier's check." And they were like, "From another bank. We don't trust them." And I was like, "What in the heck?" They're like, "We only trust cashier's check from our own bank." And so it was like the person could have just written me a regular check because I had to wait till that cashier's check cleared or whatever. I mean, like, nobody trusts anybody anymore. And the SEC has closed a lot of on-ramps for crypto. They put the people in place that used to work at Legacy Finance. These are all revolving doors with relationships. We saw Charlie Munger died. Kissinger died today, I think. But they have put this stuff in place. And Reggie did a video, I think it was this summer. Mom tweeted it out today to remind everybody that this has all been put in place to clear the way for legacy banking to take over these for the CBDC or the crypto or whatever, because like you said, we were all focused on number go up and infighting and all of that, instead of looking at the solutions that we had right there in front of us.
The solutions were there. This guy he goes, well, if Litecoin's so good, why is there no POS solutions for Litecoin? I said, because the globalist banking cartel will not allow it. Right. And I said, I could have had an app that went into the popular point of sale systems out there. Technology's there. The app's ready to go. The globalist banking cartel will not approve it.
Well, and to that point, what just got canceled? That because they said they lost millions of dollars, so they canceled their the Apple Card because they were what was that story? That bank that had the Apple Card, the Apple Pay card or whatever, just canceled it. Because, and it's probably, I don't know if it was because of chargebacks or whatever. I should have sent you the story before we got started.
So there's no more Apple Card either?
Oh, crap. Charlie might know. He's in the chat. He was the one trying to explain it to me. And now I've got maybe 2 stories in my head. Let me find it real quick on Twitter and then.
Well, look at all the good solutions we had. With the Litecoin card, they got rid of that.
Yeah.
Look at all the other. Look at even like the Flexa network used to be in the Gemini app. Mm-hmm. They got rid of that. They've David Schwartz's company, the Deep State took him down. Or maybe you could argue maybe not the globalist banking cartel took him down because the banks just wouldn't. The banks won't deal with anybody that's involved with crypto. They hear crypto and they freak. So, again, when I set out on this journey 6 years ago, it was to get away from that system. I never, ever said in my message, don't own Bitcoin. I actually advocate owning Bitcoin. I even say if you want to own only Bitcoin, great. And if you love Bitcoin, why don't you accept Litecoin for payment and just transfer it into Bitcoin? Get your precious Bitcoin. Like, who cares? I said, I also brought up too, Lisa, when until crypto did people ever were so concerned with what other people did with their money? This was always offensive to say, you're not stacking sats like this.
Right.
Like, you don't ask people what they might not be paying their rent. Times might be tough. You don't say, hey, what's in your wallet? Like, no, that's personal. Mm-hmm. So it's, it's very like alarming, these people. So that was my Twitter.
And that totally goes against the Bitcoin white paper about freedom and
it totally goes against
that. Like, it's just ridiculous. That was always my biggest rub with it, was like, did you guys even read the Bitcoin white paper? Because you're totally not even, you're just going against it. It is Goldman Sachs, Westwood's right, decided to end its partnership with Apple on Apple's credit card. Goldman Sachs has lost over $1 billion last year due to its Apple partnership.
Wow, I wonder how they lost all that money.
I don't know where the article, if there's an article attached to this, or
there has to be fraud related. There's so much fraud in the legacy payment system. It's scary. That's what got me involved with Litecoin in the first place, of seeing how much fraud exists. That's when Greg kept being in my ear about Bitcoin and Litecoin, what really made me open up my eyes was the fact that there was so much fraud every day. I started questioning how the money works and how's this system going to last. I didn't understand silver. I didn't understand gold, but I knew that there was a problem. And I scratched my head every day and I said, how can the money last over time if there's so much fraud and nobody cares about it? I'm like, what happens in 10 or 20 years from now? It was so alarming to me. And then Greg really explained to me gold and all that. And then I learned about Bitcoin, the scarcity, the 21 million hard cap. And I was like, oh my God, this is the answer. This is it.
They're talking about a reshuffling of credit card and tech finance sectors with implications for consumer lending strategies. So it's about the lending strategies and all of that. There's so much news today. When I started scrolling through my Twitter feed, um, Ken Paxton is filing a lawsuit against Pfizer for not just ineffective jabs, but misleading information, purposefully misleading. I'm having like huge sonic booms happening outside my home right now. Two huge booms.
Something's going on.
I don't know what the heck that was. That was very weird. Okay.
All right.
I don't know what that was. Then there's tons of stuff about Ric Flair saying he was kidnapped by child traffickers. Biden's wanting to give national parks to illegals, turn them into tent cities. I don't know if this meant that what's his face in Korea got taken out. I don't know if that's some kind of weird calm. But let me see what else. Oh, this was so Hunter's supposed to be testifying. I think December 13th seems to be a big day. There's a bunch of stuff lining up for that. And this shows that there is a report out from Hunter Biden's biolab company in Ukraine. 23 million or billion dollars. I can't remember if it was, I think it's $1 million, $23 million, that was all paid for by the US government. And it shows all the money in this report. So you can check that out. Maybe he'll have something to say when he shows up at the House Oversight Committee meeting. Elon was tweeting about Pizzagate and all these computers, laptops are showing up now. Everybody's ordering these laptops. The Podesta one's coming up, the Wiener one, and another one. Oh, Seth Rich. They're ordering Seth Rich's laptop to come up as well. And so you might see some of this kind of stuff from WikiLeaks.
Oh, Lisa, you know what I meant to ask you? Didn't Elon tweet about the 17th letter of the alphabet a week or two ago?
Oh, I think so. I can pull it up.
He tweeted something and wrote that, and I was like,
this is where Disney has pulled their boycotting Elon. Apple, Disney, and IBM are boycotting Disney or X, and Elon told them to GFY themselves. Westwood was talking about it on his video this morning. If you guys didn't catch that, go watch that. Dick Durbin blocked Senator Marsha Blackburn's request to subpoena Epstein's flight logs. Why would that be? That lady's talking about all the stuff. Why would they be trying to cripple the internet? Iraq officially announced that they will end the dollar crisis before the end of 2023. What does this mean? And people kind of guess about that, but they're guessing it's kind of the revaluing. Here's the Ken Paxton thing suing Pfizer for misrepresenting the vaccine efficacy and conspiring to censor public disclosures. Oh, then, okay, well, I'll get to that in a second. CISA coordinated with the UK and Arizona Supreme Court justices to illegally censor conservative Americans. Blatant violation of First Amendment of citizens with a foreign government. Like, this is straight up treason with the Arizona Supreme Court justices. Like, this is insane. So there's that. Let's see.
There's a lot going on.
There's even more, but you guys, I mean, oh, there's the Virginia. Hold on. Virginia election officials are charged with corruption from the 2020 presidential election. So they are picking some of them up. There were 70 people arrested in Vegas for some of it for prostitution, sex rings, some of them to do with children. Let's see. There's more. Okay, then this thing was the US debt clock. Before we go, I wanted to show you guys. This was, so it changes 3 times a week. This was yesterday's picture. Can you guys see that? And it's basically explaining, remember when Trump put the Federal Reserve into the Treasury and then, or under the Treasury? And basically the Federal Reserve has been eating all the debt, and they kind of explained how this worked. And then these new, the Treasury, USA Treasury. Oh, you can't see very good on this picture. Well, I tweeted it out, but it's really tiny here. But this has a little ichthys, like the little fish on it. And this has an X, like 10X and 10, debt-free currency issued as credit. This is highways. This is like bridges. This is like a railway infrastructure. And then instead of like the elites having all the money is gold distributed. Then the new picture is Dorothy. Well, I could just go to US debt clock. US debt clock.org. Try this tab instead. Ta-da! And check out her shoes, guys. Can you see? From dark to light, debt to money city, silver shoe. Remember that in the book, she really is wearing the silver shoe. And we know what the red shoes mean. So going from the child trafficking money to good, pure silver money, all of that stuff.
Wow.
Bam. That's a lot of, I know that's a lot of news. I've just been.
That's a lot of, no, but it's, there's a lot going on right now. There's a lot, we're not in a sustainable system or way or path. There's no path forward in the current system we're in. That's a pipe dream for people. They can't lower the interest. The market's going to keep pushing the interest rate higher. The interest that we pay on the national debt, I think in 3 years is going to be triple the annual military budget. And that's insane. The U.S. has by far the highest military budget of any country, I think by a magnitude of 10. And now our interest on our debt's going to be triple that. And this isn't sustainable. And
Yeah.
This is symbolism right there. I mean,
basket of currency. I mean, all of this is like.
Who puts this USA debt clock? Who's in charge of this website? Like,
I don't know.
And that's, I mean, what does that tell you? If that's not symbolism, that's not a warning or a premonition of what's to come.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So silver, and if you look at this dollar to silver, dollar supply now, and then they go to dollar to silver ratio, dollar per to silver ratio in 5 years, $1,556. Dollar to gold ratio, 12,000.
And we are starting to see silver move higher, even though we know it's in a corrupt, manipulated system. Even with all that said, silver, even tonight, if you check, silver's still on its way up. So I think Bix has been talking a lot about it, how the Silver Institute had to come out with new data saying about the use of silver and how the demand for solar panels and all this. So I don't know. Something's going to break.
It's going to break. It's going to break real quick.
Are you going to be in hard assets? That's the question. Mm-hmm. Are you prepared? Do you have anything sound? Do you have anything tangible? Are you only in fiat? Are you only in the banking system? Where's your assets at? I mean, that's a really good question to ask people. And it's, we talk about, we love cryptos, but silver and gold are a good option for people that are afraid of cryptos.
Well, and being diversified is never,
Yes.
a bad idea in this uncertain time, So
Yeah. You were even talking, Lisa, I think last week on the spaces about owning, like buying like just different things that might have value. Like you brought up the little bottles of vodka.
that was from my parents' idea.
Yeah.
My mom taught me that. Yeah.
Somebody else brought up the salt having.
Yeah, that was Benny. Benny was talking about the salt to trade
Yeah.
salt. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of things that, and then also having skills, whether it's and knowledge, you know, if somebody needs and strength, your health. That's the other thing Dr. McDaniel was talking about. If you don't have your health or strength, or knowledge, or whatever those things that your neighbor is lacking, that you might have that asset. And it may not be a thing. It may be knowledge. That's one of those things where Uncle Cliff was like, buy those books. And when my dad passed, my mom had me I was helping her with some things, and my dad had some like survivor prepper books or whatever, and so I was like, I want all those prepper books or whatever. And so we grabbed those and stuff, and I still look for some of those kind of things. And I have like a book that my mom wrote when we were kids, and it has like all these old recipes, but it also has like some like how to make your own soap, and how to, heal an earache with, I don't know even what different things she told you to stick in your ear, but, old kind of, remedies or whatever. And that kind of knowledge, I think, will be useful as well. So,
Yeah, 100%. It's be self-sufficient.
mhm.
Will you always be able to rely on the pharmaceutical companies to deliver your medication? That's scary. You know what
That
I
is
mean?
scary. That's really
It's scary.
scary.
It's a lot of stuff that people are reliant on. I don't blame the people. They need it, and it's there's a lot of there's a lot of uncertainty going on. So just try to accumulate whatever you can now while times are still. Can we call this normal, Lisa? I don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't think it is. I mean, although I do think a lot of it is, our media that's manipulated and used to drive people to take action or not with fear. So I do kind of like, and Uncle Cliff warned us to hold things lightly during this time that it was coming out, to really critically think and hold stories lightly. And a lot of the video that we're seeing right now, or pictures, sometimes the kid has an extra finger, and I'm like, I don't know about that, or in the past, they never showed that kind of graphic stuff. Why are they so driven to show this graphic stuff now? Well, they're probably wanting to elicit a response, to drive us to have a certain kind of think. And so that's where it's like, if you're so quick to rush to an emotional response, maybe stop for just a minute and think about it first, and unpack where it's coming from, the source, where it's coming from, and why what the intention behind it is. Because a lot of what we're seeing right now, we know can be generated by AI. And we're not really there, you really, unless you're really in that environment, we don't know what really happened. I don't know what really happened in Hawaii. I certainly don't know what's happening in Ukraine. I certainly don't know what's happening in Israel. I'm in Oklahoma.
How would we know?
How would I know?
My prediction, that's why I said they're going to do something in Alaska and just tell us that it happened up there. And how are we going to know? They could show us pictures, imagery, and look what happened. And we'll be like, Okay.
I mean, look what happened in New York, and we still don't. A lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So interesting. All right. I think I got most of the good news out to everybody. And the wallet. We want to tell about the wallet.
Yeah. Let's tie it in with
Tell them about the wallet.
The having control of your cryptos is also key going into what we're going into, just in general. So there's a wallet that I really like. We'll talk more about it, but I just downloaded it recently. Kyle actually talked me into downloading it. Kyle from 84 Million Litecoin. Kyle's who I got this shirt from. Hard to see. It's the Litecoin, the silver to Bitcoin's gold shirt. Really good contributor to the Litecoin community. But he got me to kind of test out ordinals. And I've kind of got to admit, I knew about ordinals, but I didn't really utilize them yet or test anything out with it. I just kind of ordinals, that's cool. It's more scalable in Litecoin. But until you actually use it and send it and receive it, do you really know what you're doing? And
tell everybody what an ordinal is. Or can you do a quick? I know it's kind of
ordinals. It's basically an NFT it's a way to do an inscription on chain on the Litecoin or Bitcoin blockchain. So the cool thing is with this Stack wallet is that you can actually see the image in there, which is really cool, because what's the point of having an NFT or an image that you bought and paid for or that you transferred to somebody and they can't see it? So I see the use case of this in the future. I've always said in a potential really dystopian type of world, the Litecoin or Bitcoin blockchain may be the only way to get a message out. Your social credit score may not allow for you to communicate with one another. They might say, hey, Johnny Litecoin, we don't like what you've been saying on Twitter or X. We watch your show with that lady Lisa. We don't like what you guys are talking about.
At all.
Johnny, you can't eat meat. You can't message these people anymore. You're been deemed as a social undesirable, right?
Mm-hmm.
They may just, and that seems like it can't happen, but it absolutely can happen. It's happening in China right now. It can come here. We already know we've talked about it, the MBA's in the pocket of China and
the Bidens. Don't forget about the Bidens.
Look what they did. They cleaned up San Francisco because Xi came to San Fran. It's been a train wreck for how many years? He comes to clean it up for him. So what does that tell you? Who answers to who? So these ordinals, this is a very easy way to send a message out, a picture, a thought on the blockchain. And again, Litecoin, you could send it out for fractions of a penny. That does feel good as far as preserving privacy and freedom goes, that, hey, at least we have that going for us. But besides for that, I'll tell you a few so you might not be into ordinals yet. I get it. But it gives you what's called coin control. Now, a lot of people don't understand what coin control is. If you use Exodus Wallet, Trust, even if you use a Ledger, a Trezor, any type of wallet like that, Ledger and Trezor work a little different than Exodus, but they don't have coin control, none of those wallets. So if I send transaction after transaction into, say, a Ledger, which is a hardware wallet, say, okay, I'm good to go. I got my hardware wallet offline. Well, you're still not transacting in really a private manner, because when you go to send your Litecoin out of there, it's going to lump every transaction you've ever received together and send them out as the output. That's how Litecoin works when you send it. That's like the UTXO type of blockchains. It
Okay.
lumps everything together, sends it out, and then sends you back the change. Kind of like if you pay with $100 bill, it sends you back the change. You get the change back from the cashier. That's how the Litecoin or Bitcoin blockchain work. So in the case of the Stack Wallet lets you select which coins that came in that you're actually sending the output from. That's really key because you might have money that I might have Stack Wallet or any type of wallet. I might have transactions that I sent from an exchange that I bought on Coinbase, send to the wallet. Say, Lisa, you sent me money for an event or something, and I have money from you. Then say I have money that came from Mimblewimble. What's the point of using MWeb or Mimblewimble if you send it back to an address and then you send coins from an exchange that you KYC'd into to that same address or same wallet? You're right back to square one. So you went through a privacy tunnel, and then basically it's like you put a flag out your window and said, "Hey, it's me, it's me, it's me. I don't want to be like invisible anymore." In the case of Stack Wallet, I could say, "Hey, you know what? I got to send a transaction out to somebody else. Let me send the one that came from MWeb. Hey, you know what? I want to sell back on an exchange. Let me sell the coins back on the exchange that I bought from the exchange initially." You can control which coins you're sending around. Right now, the only wallet I've seen that does that good is either Litecoin Core or Electrum.
Oh my gosh, I remember Electrum.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Electrum's buggy. Electrum it has a lot of cool features, multi-sig, a lot of cool features, but Electrum seems to be buggy. Stack Wallet, really good user interface, easy to use.
That could be used for voting and give you anonymity,
Sure.
but identity at the same time. Like you could validate that
Yeah.
person voted or whatever, but they could have their anonymity
Yeah.
at the same time.
I'll give you another cool feature that this wallet had built in. Now, wallets either work one of two ways typically. Like an Exodus wallet keeps a static address where that address is the same time in and time out. So you're reusing that address constantly. That's not good for privacy.
Right.
It's good for ease of use. It's easy. It's good for beginners. You're still holding your own private key. But if you keep sending transaction after transaction, it's really, really terrible for privacy because it puts like a tree basically together and it links everything together into that one wallet, right? Everything you've ever done, where those transactions come from. So say, Lisa, I sent you an address. Say you said, "Hey, Johnny, I'm going to send you Litecoin. We're having that party. You got to pay the restaurant. Why don't I send you Litecoin for my end of it?" I said, "Okay, Lisa, cool. Let me send you my address." You said, "Hey, I'm going to pay you tomorrow or the day after. I just need to move some money around or get money out of a wall." "Okay, no problem. Pay me in a couple days, right? Here's my address when you're ready." Now say in the meantime, somebody else wants to pay me or I want to send money in from an exchange. Now, if I go to hit receive in that wallet, even if it's a wallet that changes the address every time, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I sent you the address and I didn't receive coins since I sent you the address, if I go to send that address back out or receive coins in that wallet, it's gonna create that same address. Now you're gonna send me coins to that address, and then so is somebody else. So then somebody else could be like, "Oh, gee, Johnny has a lot of Litecoin in that address. I see somebody else sent him in Litecoin." Where in the case of Stack Wallet, it has a button there. It says create new address, create new address. So I could send you my address, Lisa. Somebody else could say, hey, send me your address, Johnny. I send them a different address.
Mhm.
Somebody else could say, hey, Johnny, send me your address. I send them a different address. And then say I want to send money from an exchange on, say, Litecoin I bought. I create another address and I send the money from that the exchange address. Very good for privacy and use. So Stack Wallet, highly recommend it. They're very privacy focused, very Litecoin focused, which you don't see that in a lot of wallets aside for Lite Wallet. Litecoin didn't have things originally like a lot of stuff. A lot of wallets were Ethereum focused because of ERC20 tokens and DeFi and all that. But now Litecoin has cool stuff you can do. It has these ordinals. It has MWeb.
Mhm.
It's starting to get these different things. So with all that said, this wallet is a Litecoin first wallet, in my opinion, where it's created with Litecoin in mind, where it has the features you want to utilize as a Litecoin user. Really good user interface.
Does it have with it, or is it?
It will.
Okay.
MWeb was MWeb needed new updates to come out in core before you could code MWeb into a mobile wallet.
Okay.
When you're using any wallet besides Litecoin Core, you're using what's called a lightweight client. So Litecoin Core means you have the whole blockchain down.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, you have to use the whole.
An Exodus, Trust Wallet, all these other mobile wallets or most wallets are what's called a lightweight client, meaning
So you only have a portion of the
blockchain.
The blockchain, not the whole thing downloaded. Yeah. Okay.
It takes up a lot less space.
Mhm.
They're a lot easier to use, but because of that, there had to be certain development that occurred and certain updates that happened before MWeb could be compatible with these lightweight clients. So now that you see that coming to fruition, you'll start to see MWeb built into these wallets, which is really cool. But definitely give Stack a download. Stack Wallet.
Is it STACK or did they crypto spell it?
STACK.
Okay. And do you have a link to share, like a promotional?
It's a non-custodial wallet, so just go
okay.
in there and get your seed words. And
okay.
It's a little different than a multi. You can use Bitcoin and other cryptos in it, but you'll have to create new seed words for each crypto that you use. And
okay.
I actually like that because I always felt like it was a little risky if you have one set of seed words for all different coins. I always felt like I like having that set of seed words for that particular. So if you go to download Bitcoin in there, it says you want to. Even if you have a Litecoin wallet in there, it says you want to create a new wallet or recover from a existing set of seed words. So it's that to me is an advantage.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that is good to know. Yeah. That's kind of exciting to see that kind of development, excitement around Litecoin, new products coming out that are Litecoin forward or Litecoin focused. So all good stuff, all good news. So you guys go down and download your Stacks wallet and use it, send some Litecoin, create some new addresses,
yes.
Have some privacy, because you never want somebody looking in your account. Like, it creeped me out so bad. I will never forget the first time I had that experience. And thankfully it was a friend of mine, and he said, oh, well, no, you didn't send that to me because I saw where you sent this amount, but you sent it to Bozak's wallet because I know his address of whatever. And I was like, what? How do you know where I sent how much money on whatever? He's like, oh, well, I have your address and whatever. And I was like completely freaked out.
Yeah.
But that's the point of an open ledger, distributed ledger technology. That's what we're doing, guys. That's blockchain. And that's where, like, yes, the government has our money. It is not their money. It is our money. And they should be using distributed ledger technology, so that we, the people, can see what they're doing with our money,
Yes.
not these giant omnibus bills that they shove through in the middle of the night behind closed doors. And we don't know what the hell they're buying with our money or what they're doing with our money. But we, the people, should have privacy through things like MWeb and Stack's wallet with the whatever new addresses. And because we, the people, are the ones creating it and earning it. So I love that. I think that's great.
We need to flip the script and hold the government account. They should have to settle. Ultimately, my hope would be that they have to settle every day into the Bitcoin blockchain. Imagine that. And then you could say, hey, did everything settle out? They said that they spent this, or this money went so-and-so, but only such and such went into the Bitcoin blockchain. Why? Why is that? Let us hold them accountable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then what you just said, accountability. Because it's one thing to say we need it to be this way, but then there needs to be accountability. And when treason happens, there's a consequence for that.
Yep.
So sometimes you need to get a rope. Just saying.
Yes.
All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow on Happy Hour. Westwood and I are doing a class this weekend. We've got one person signed up already. So if you guys are interested, hit me up. Either if you're a Patreon, you'll get a discount. So send me a message there. We're going to actually move the class to the afternoon, or evening, probably do it around 4 or 5 p.m. So Central time. So send me an email or send me a message on Twitter or whatever if you're interested, and I will get you signed up for that class, and we'll get the fee all straightened out and all that. So we'll see you guys later. Take care. Thanks, Johnny.
Yeah, great show, Lisa. Great seeing you guys. Love this show. Love Thursdays. Love getting to chat with everybody. And hit me up on Twitter if you guys have any questions. Just make sure it's the real Johnny Litecoin.
That's right. At Johnny with a Y.
Yes.
All right. Take care.